Hello everyone, and welcome back to Mechabellum and another ranked review, which we will go into a second. But before we go in, one quick shout out to the first SDL Mechabellum tournament, which we will host on the 10th of June, 3 p.m. CEST. I will cast it live on Twitch, and it already has more than $150 off prize pool, crowdfunded via Matcherino. I put $50 in, and somebody else already added another $100 already. So, yeah, the first competitive Mechabellum tournament here. If you have more than 1,500 combat power, you can sign up. And yeah, I hope to see many of you there. And I'm really looking forward to a Mechabellum tournament, seeing how the meta develops and all of that. And with that said, let's go back into the review, as this was one of the most basic games I have played in a while. I went for the classic combo here, Supply Specialist, Fang, Stormcaller. Enemy went for Aerial, Arclight, Sledgehammer. And those are two really standard, relatively slow front main lines. And we went from there, and yeah, it was pretty standard, but also pretty interesting because, yeah, that's still, you still have to beat your enemy at something that everybody kind of knows. You obviously can't go super fancy with these slow compositions. Like, you can. There's some builds where you start super far forward with the Stormcaller and you try to hit, but the enemy is research center really quick with your Stormcaller. But I just want to have a line, and the enemy went for pretty much the same thing at the beginning here. Both of us at 2,600 and 2,200 combat power at this point. So yeah, here we go. Stormcallers behind it. I added some more Fangs to be tanky at the beginning. Obviously, and the Stormcallers are what deals the damage here, as everything on the other side melts Fangs, but they still take a while, and they still have to hit it first, whilst my Stormcallers here in the rear will do the damage. And yeah, the 50 point extra, pretty nice. Enemy will have to use their air advantage eventually, so that's something to keep in mind. And Fang's not bad against any wasps, and also obviously if the enemy will go into phoenixes, then Fangs are not half bad either, especially if you can give them portable shields. So here we go. Enemy, it comes in, we come in, our Fangs force them to be stationary. Second salvo here starts to take out some of the tanks, but we don't quite have enough guys. And yeah, it takes a while. We get some good hits here. They destroy the turret though. And then this first battle, they hit us pretty hard. Luckily it wears off, and yeah, we win it just slightly. As yeah, Stormcaller is really good against slow compositions, as they can hit quite nicely. And here we have some really standard setups as well. Redeployment we don't need, because both of our front lines are not something that needs to be much changing here, and nobody did a major mistake. Missile damage, not so strong against the enemy, so I went for shields. Enemy, I believe, went for nothing at all. Oh no, the enemy went for shields as well. So yeah, we both went for shields. Pretty standard, good thing for the late game. And also, potential is there for always going fortresses when you have Fangs. Especially if you have also the Fang spawning thing in your fortresses, because then the upgrades of your baseline Fangs go over to the spawn Fangs as well. And yeah, the enemy used their air advantage here quickly. They went immediately for some Phoenixes, whilst I went for some Marksmen. They somehow got their Marksmen unlocked as well. Yeah, Marksmen really good against all these individual targets here. And as I had the upgrade on the Stormcallers, I didn't want to get more Stormcallers. Yeah, individual Marksmen here pretty good against the Arclights. Single target damage, quite nice. As you can see though, the Fang line evaporating is a bit of a problem, but Marksmen and Arclights still... Arclights still do a pretty interesting fight here. The Stormcallers trying to get level 2, getting killed off. This time we take 400 damage, as our Fang line is just not tanky enough for now. We don't quite have enough damage to shoot them down quickly. A lot of standard choices here as well. I again will go for attack, as that early on is super strong because you can save quite a lot of money here. For example, for portable shields on marksman with more range, and all of these guys work well. Like, you want to have upgrades for fangs like this. In this matchup, you want to have some portable shields and potentially even the ignite. Meanwhile, the Stormcallers, you have some good options here as well. As the electronic, the range, marksman, obviously, anyway. Like, you want to have elite marksman in any game, in the late game, so saving money here is nice. It only costs you 50. I have the extra 50 anyway. And I, invested immediately here into some 2 researchers, as I had a decent amount of money, because I didn't spend it all last turn. And went for some extra range, because that really enables me to win against the Phoenixes here, and keep my marksmen away enough from the Arclights that even if they beat all the fangs, they still have to move further. And obviously the portable shields mean that every single one of my fangs has to be shot one more extra time, basically doubling their hit points nearly here in this matchup. And that is really important. It bought me a lot of time here, whilst my DPS dealers here from the rear did their job. So now my enemy has to find new solutions for that. And that's what upgrades are for. Forcing the enemy to do something different. Mitigating weaknesses. Pretty terrible upgrades here. So enhanced it is for me as well, because it saves me 50 bucks immediately. I can upgrade the Stormcaller. If the Stormcaller upgrades further, I save even more money. I couldn't consider going for a giant here, but I decided against it. The enemy did go for it, as they have aerial, so they can get the Overlord for free. And the enhancement model here makes sense. They also do nice AoE against the fangs. They can, with the repair upgrade, also become pretty tanky. They can make the rest of the line pretty tanky with the photon emission, which the front lines clash relatively quickly here, so it kind of makes sense to use that. And I get why they went for the Overlord, but it's still more targets for my marksman. I feel like not having Sledgehammers with the damage sharing upgrade is a major mistake. Like, I feel like that would have been the best upgrade for them from the get-go. Damage sharing and healing. They went for healing now. They went for healing here on their tanks, but because they're individual tanks, they still get one-shotted, so the healing doesn't help them against the marksman. If you go for healing, you kind of want to go damage sharing every time as well with the tanks, because then the healing really starts to kick in. Because first of all, it's way more hit points, so you heal more hit points per second. Second of all, you can't get stopped from healing. Healing always has an effect because nothing one-shots you. This is a major mistake. Armor enhancement doesn't do... It does a bit against the Stormcallers. Doesn't do anything against the marksmen, and the fangs don't deal any damage anyways. And my fortress here, another thing, 2 tank for my rear line. Enemy goes for flames, I go for acid. Both pretty effective here in this. Enemy obviously high hit points. We are low hit point units here, so flames are really, really dangerous. I considered using a shield in the middle, but I was not quite sure where they could use it. They could have used it everywhere, so I didn't think it would... it was too risky to use the shields there. And I wanted to get the fortress out now, because I really realized my tanks started to suffer a bit too much. I needed something that can tank a bit more, even against high damage dealers. And that's why I went for the fortress, stopping the Phoenixes here from being too effective. The acid in the north did the job just like the fire, killing off the tanks here, killing off the Arclights. And with that, we are still in a pretty basic game here. As both line my line is having to keep up with the enemy. So the fortress, really good idea, because of one more upgrade here. The anti-air barrage is really strong. It gets worse the later the game goes on, but as long as the game is early, it is a really fantastic upgrade, as it sadly doesn't scale with level, the damage on the missiles, but 900 damage with 16 times 900, like 15k damage there nearly. and Phoenixes with 3,700 hit points, so you wipe out nearly 2 of them. You do nearly wipe out an Overlord with a single salvo as well. And that is a massive issue here for the enemy air, especially if we go for 3 fortresses. And as we went for the cheaper giants, the enemy has a problem there. Countering the Overlord's hardcore here, basically. And yeah, this is a lot of DPS. It's a risk, as I said. If the enemy gets some upgrades on the Overlords and so on, it gets way worse really quick. But it's a pretty cheap upgrade as well. So yeah, and wiping out the Overlords here with the first salvo, pretty big. Second salvo kills the second one, and that all for 250 points here is really fantastic. And now I also start to really deal damage here to the enemy, nearly having them down. And they have to find a new solution for it. Here, I just decided, okay, we're gonna finish this now. I went for the increased range. They didn't go for anything. So they just went for the extra money because they also realized they would have... no, they went for the bombardment because they also realized they had to win the turn here. Yeah, they have the repairs. They have the armor, but armor really not a great upgrade against marksman. And yeah, I just went for more baseline. If you see that the enemy is not developing anything to hard counter you, just go deeper, just get an upgrade. Like, the baseline would have potentially beaten our baselines if we wouldn't have gotten these upgrades. But we really mitigated our weaknesses with those upgrades. Obviously, we could have also gotten into new units to try that. Like, that's the payoff. But we already had so many of these Fangs that getting them better was the right choice here, in my eyes. Marksmen here were the right counter, and the Fangs were not really the right counter, but we made them correct. Here I just decided I wanted to end it. Big mistake here. Like these missiles, I should have not used them. I kind of knew that the enemy would go shields, and yeah, they're completely wasted here. Well, the enemy also invested a lot into shields, but yeah, shields counter these missiles. Our anti-air missiles here still, though, doing fantastic work. Enemy still not level 2, as we just kind of one-shot him there. And with that, the game is already over here. And we just keep on going. AA missiles really doing a fantastic job. And little chance for the enemy here to do anything. So yeah, quick victory here in this game. And basically the lesson is, if you're in a base game, always think one ahead. If we have a look here, what I did basically was already knowing fortresses would be good here in the late game. Already planning with the Fangs for the shields upgrade here. Because these units here all die really quickly to the fortress. They don't deal enough damage to the fortress. And as I knew they had aerial, I also kind of knew with the anti-air barrage I can deal with that. And as long as I have the Fangs and the marksman, I have enough AA that whenever they put into the air, can't really worry us. So the enemy kind of hard countered themselves there with the aerial specialist and units that are only doing soft damage. What they would have needed is actually kind of play without the aerial, maybe with overlords later. The Phoenix made some sense, but I already knew that they would do it, so I got the marksman here, which early on countered him, and the enemy needed to get into the late game, and the Phoenix was not the solution for that. That's the problem. Like, they would have needed to get to round 9 or 10 here with their combo, in my eyes. Also, so I would have said crawlers early on, maybe, to keep my storm crawlers busy, like something fast there. And then something to hit me like the Phoenixes, maybe on top of that, but they needed something that was faster and smaller, or they needed a better upgrades here. Like, this upgrade layout for sledgehammers is, in my eyes, really terrible, because sledgehammers are just not damage dealers. And these two upgrades are great, but they don't help them against the single target damage units, and you don't get like, the enemy always will have single target damage against your sledgehammers. So you need something that can block that, and that's the making them. That's the hit point thing. It sounds counterintuitive because it makes them one single unit, but together with the heal, it actually makes them survive way more. The damage sharing upgrade, and guess then potentially steel balls can deal with you, but steel balls in the late game often just like die before they reach you anyways. And if you have the damage upgrade on the sledgehammers instead of the mechanical rage or the range thing, then you actually can't kill steel balls even relatively often before they reach you. So I go for field maintenance, armor, damage sharing, and the damage upgrade, the armored piercing shells. That's my sledgehammer build. Yeah, actually I will do a video about my build in tomorrow to show you all guys why I do the things. And yeah, that's it. I hope to see you next time, guys. Leave a like down below if you enjoyed the video. And I hope to see you all in the tournament, guys. I'm really hyped for that. It's nice to already got some prize money in there, and I'm looking forward to it. See you next time. Bye-bye, guys. Have a great day.